Welcome.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome all. Good evening, good afternoon. Might be good morning for some people. Let's wait another minute and it would be really, I'd really enjoy it to see where you're all from. If you could rename yourselves to say where you're from. You do that by clicking on the three little buttons if you don't know. And we come to introduce ourselves as trainers and organisers of the Swedish IIT this summer. But welcome to you. Oh.
Shall I start? Or do you want to wait for people to rename themselves?
I'd like to start. You're right. It's now 2 minutes past. Why don't you start, Joachim?
Yes, all right. So I start. I'm one of the trainers during this IIT in August, and I'm also an organizer. So when the IIT starts, I will step down from my role as an organizer. And I live in Stockholm, like, I don't know, 500 kilometers from the venue. So I will go south when the time comes. Thank you.
Joachim, I wonder if you'd be willing to share something that makes your heart sing. Get to know you a little bit.
Something that makes my heart sing. Yeah, it's when I manage to bring my wife to the gym and we do gym together. That makes my heart sing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So my name's Shona. I am also one of the trainers for the Sweden IIT, and I like to talk about my first experience of an intensive training, and that was with Marshall in Switzerland. So I can say more about that later on. I'm based in the UK. I'm also an assessor for English-speaking European assessor team, supporting people who'd like to become certified trainers. And that's a passion of mine, like passing on to the next generation of trainers. I spend a lot of my time doing that. And something that makes my heart sing, at the moment, daffodils. There are daffodils in England, and now I'm in Scotland today, actually, all over the place. And last weekend, I was actually in the Lake District in England, which is full of daffodils and where there's a very famous poem about daffodils. Narcissi, I think, might be the Latin word for them, but they're very abundant this time of year, so making my heart sing. So we have two other people here from the IIT, some of our organizing team. Who would like to go first?
I can go. I'm Amy, and I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I am part of the organizing team. And it may sound corny and cheesy, but what makes my heart sing is spreading and promoting NBC. What I'm doing right now and helping arrange this IIT, it gets me so excited. I'm working until late at night. I don't work late at night, people, but I'm sitting in the computer because I love doing it. And I will pass it over to Christina.
Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm Christina. I also live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm also part of the organizing team. And I was also part of the organizing team in the Sweden IIT 2019, and I'm a certified trainer in NVC. And what makes my heart sing is, well, one of the things is that I have been starting doing improv theater, and that is so fun. And I didn't thought that, me as a person would really like to improvise and, have that kind of um, hobby. But actually, now when I'm trying it, it's so fun, and I also realize how much it contributes to my life in general, but also workshops as well. So yeah, thank you.
I'm so glad I asked this question, Christina, especially because I really want to do that too. So I'm going to ask you about it when I see you.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Okay, so a little bit of structure for this evening. We are going to hear from Joachim. He's going to do an exercise with us. And then we're hoping to be joined by one of the others coming in from the US via Zoom. So I'm hoping Sylvia will join us. And after the a little bit of exercise, which I'm really looking forward to, I know I could do with some self-empathy today, we'll have time for question and answers. And this all being recorded, CNBC will use it. So let us know if there's something you would prefer not to be recorded. It's very easy just to pause it and we'll look after you. And if you can put your cameras on, that would be wonderful. We'd love to see everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the recording is in speaker view, so if you don't say anything, you will probably not be caught on camera, especially if your microphone is off. Then so you can safely show yourself if you choose to do that. So I want to do a small exercise on self-empathy. And it's something you can do on your own, but I will guide you through this one. And I promised you a PDF, and I haven't been able to make the PDF yet. So if you put your email in the chat, I will send it to you late this evening or tomorrow. Okay. So I would like you to pick an event with someone that you were not totally pleased with what this person was doing or saying. And choose something that you can handle by yourself. So, not the most traumatic thing. And still choose something that when you think about it, it evokes some emotions of sadness, anger, irritation, or whatever kind of emotion that might come. So something that is moving you, but you're still able to handle yourself. So is there anyone that needs more time? I don't see anything, so I will go on. So even if you are totally fluent in empathic connection and NVC and giraffe language, please drop that now. And just think, what if you had this person in front of you? What would you like to say to him or her? Like your judgments, your jackals, what's alive in you right now when you think about what this person did? So speak it out in your mind to this person. And notice what's alive in your body right now. What's the intensity in you? What emotions are alive? And make a little either mental note or write it down, like from a scale maybe from 0 to 10, where 0 is totally unmoved, you have no emotions at all, and 10 is totally full of rage and you throw things around. So where would you put your emotions right now when you think about what this person did and said? And while being in connection with those emotions in you, try to connect them to what you are longing for. the needs you would like to be fulfilled? What kind of needs are those emotions, the source of your emotion? What needs are you longing for? And connect to those needs within you. And if you want to, if you don't already doing that, you can close your eyes and sensing those needs or thinking about those needs. I'm pretty sure that in other parts and times and events in your life, those needs have been fulfilled. So if it's one need or a combination of needs, try to think about a specific event when those needs were fulfilled, when there was no doubt that those needs were fulfilled. They were alive in you, they were present. So sense the quality of those needs being fulfilled. Think about this situation where those needs were fulfilled and sense the aliveness and the quality of those needs within you. Be with the needs, swim with them. There's no question that those needs are totally fulfilled. And imagine now that those needs are totally fulfilled. You don't need them either from yourself or from the external world or from anyone else. They are there in your body, totally fulfilled within you. And imagine yourself going to the same person you were annoyed or sad or angry with. And from this place of fulfilled needs, what would you like to say to this person? You might still not want to use NVC, but what do you want to say? Or you might want to use words of empathy, but that's not necessary. What do you want to say to this person? And sense the intensity in your body now and what feelings arise within you now, imagining saying those things to this person. And from a scale from 0 to 10, how intense do you feel those feelings right now? And is there a shift within you if you compare what you first wanted to say and what you're saying now. And when you're ready, in your own pace, you can gently open your eyes. Maybe you want to look around in the room, sense your body touching the chair or the floor or the sofa. Ah, thank you for joining me on this little journey. And if anyone is willing to share, I'm happy to hear. And if you want to keep it for yourself, you are, of course, welcome to do that as well.
I noticed a shift from more, in the beginning, I was more blaming the other person and feeling maybe afraid of that person's behavior. And because it was a colleague that I had trouble with recently, and that person was talking bad about me to other people, and then I was afraid how they would perceive me, and so it was like it became some drama.
Yeah.
And yes, so but I think in the exercise, I feel like I shifted more to being observing that person and seeing that it is there, not taking it so personal, that it's
Mm.
that person's behavior or fear, or so I feel less afraid
Mm.
uh, because I don't feel so threatened by that person's behavior, maybe.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So, mission completed. Yeah. So, that's when I do this exercise. I can also sense this transition from going from quite judgmental to more. All right, it's this person owns what this person is doing and saying, and there might still be some tension, but it's a bit lighter. So thanks for sharing. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm happy. Someone else want to share?
yeah, I'd like to say something. Just on the back of what you said, Ellen, there was something in me where I noticed I could much more readily see it as their stuff, and it wasn't coming into me. Like my boundary got like, oh, something was easier in me that could keep their stuff out of mine. Yeah, so I appreciated that. Thank you. I wonder if anybody else wants to offer any reflections.
I can share. I had an interaction with my husband, and we are very different. And, it's in one particular one recently, I what I have trouble is being more empathetic towards him. And it's almost like I have no comprehension of like what he could be feeling. And I think honestly, for the first time, like I actually could in my head um, potentially see what his needs were based on his reaction to me. So that was like a hallelujah moment. Thanks.
Yeah, great. So yeah, and that I think that that's one of the keys that I didn't really understood. I think when I started NVC, that in order for me to be empathic towards someone else, I I guess I need some empathy myself first. And when I receive that, I'm much more open to see what others might go through and what might be alive. So thanks for sharing that.
It's like a bucket I need filling up.
Yeah.
I can share if you want one more.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Amy.
It didn't shift for me. And what you just said right now, Joachim, kind of made sense, is that, I think I need more empathy, because I could fill myself with the needs, but I still was reacting and wanted to say the exact same thing to the person, like, stop it. So I need more self-empathy before I can most likely speak to the person.
Yeah. And sometimes, of course, we did it, I don't know, for 10 minutes. So sometimes the empathy you need is not a quick fix. It might take some time before you're ready to let the other person into your heart, or whatever you want to say. So yeah, it's a process. So thanks for sharing that.
I don't know about your experience, but usually if I'm a bit stuck, it's because I need to do more jackling. I haven't heard it all. There's something needs some fresh air, sunshine.
Yeah, that's the beauty of judgments. Not to judge the judgments, but to enjoy them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
shall we
Are we ready to
shift?
move on?
Question and answers? Maybe there'll be questions. Hopefully there'll be answers. I really enjoy these kinds of sessions, so I'm really open for questions about NVC, about what we do, about the IIT, questions about Marshall, questions about, well, let's see what comes.
Do you prefer us raising our digital hand or
Well,
just
there's so
chiming
few of
in?
you, so let's just chime in. I think if there were more of us, then we would put hands up. But let's do this the old-fashioned way. Really, Anna Lucinda, beautiful name.
Great. So I'll chime in. It's my first IIT. I'm excited. I wanted to go to one 2 years ago, and there was some trauma that happened, and it didn't happen. And I actually was going to go to Italy, but I decided to come to the Sweden one. Partly because I'm an educator, and I really I listened to some of your videos, Shauna. And I guess my question, I don't know what to expect. I know there's maybe actually one is on transportation. Like, is there like a place? Like, I know we have the information, but I don't know if there are people traveling together, like from the train station to the, that kind of thing. Like, I'm just asking if there is a place where if some people are happen to be meeting at the same time to get to the destination. I've never been to Sweden, not that I'm sure I could figure it out myself. And I did see that there was a note about the night. There's no space the night of, so you can stay at a different place. I don't know if that makes sense, but just on if you want to arrive early, what does that look like? Are my questions clear?
Yes, I'd
I
just
hope
like to
so.
prioritize. Which one would you like to go first with, Lucinda? Because I heard at least 3 questions.
I can start with the
Yeah.
traveling if you want to hear.
All right. Okay, yeah, let's go there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we will provide as accurate and accessible information as possible on the website. And we will also like to do like a traveling document where people can put in their names and when they are arriving. Maybe you can go with someone who goes with the car, or you can meet up with some people that will take the bus from Malmö to the venue. So, and if anything is unclear, we would like to hear from you. So we would like it to be so easy, so it's just flowing like that. So is there any more questions around transportations? No.
No, it sounds like it's coming like when you put that up. That's perfect. Thank you.
Yes. And when it comes to if you want to come earlier, like not the same day as the IIT starts, unfortunately, the venue can't take you earlier, but we will provide a list of like different kind of price classes of hostels and hotels and so on. And of course, you can also use booking or whatever kind of services. And here we might also want to create a spreadsheet or something. Maybe people want to live in the same place, so you could connect with each other. Like, hello, I'm coming 1 day earlier or 2 day earlier. Or anyone else want to join me in a hostel or something like that? So we would like to be your service in all aspects of your visit to the IIT.
Oh, that's great. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That really
Yeah.
answers my question there.
And then there was a third. Shona was counting the questions, so I don't remember the
Yes.
third one.
The third one was your first one, Anna Lucinda, which was what to expect.
Yes.
And it's a challenging question to answer because each IIT is so different, and there are things that are the same, I would say. So you will be invited every day to 2 community meetings. So the structure is bookended with a community meeting in the morning and a community meeting usually at the end of the day before dinner. And then those community meetings are served to support Live Together, to really practicing living NVC together. And from the morning meeting, we then explore your day, and everybody has a different kind of day on IIT. Then you get the chance to choose which workshops you'd like to go to. And you can pick from the trainer's offerings for the day. So there'll be some kind of presentation every morning where you will hear what workshops are on offer. And there's a theme every day. So usually the themes run in the same kind of order: self-empathy, empathy, honesty, and so on through the 9 days. We build on the model of NVC and the model of the IIT developed by Marshall himself. So that's the structure that he worked on over many years. And so then 2 workshops every day and also a home group every day. So you'll be invited into a small group and a home base, very important part of the IIT. So you get a steady place that you know you will get heard, meet the same people every day. And I know they're super important to people. I'm sure all of us who've been to IITs before would concur and say, yes, we've made lasting friendships and relationships in home groups. We certainly have. And they usually meet every afternoon. And then the final community gathering all together is celebrations and mourning of the day, and collectively sharing what we've learned, what we're grateful for, and enjoying time together. And then there's space in the evenings for all different activities. People bring musical instruments sometimes, games to play, yoga to do, activities to offer. We have a number of candidates coming, so they're practicing and offering mini workshops to get feedback. Lots of things happen in the evenings, and fun and social usually as well. So does that a little bit, Anna Lucinda?
Well done. Yeah, thank you so much. That really clarified things for me. Appreciate it.
You'll get a clear timetable, and then also there's a lot of open space for developing and growing together.
Yeah.
We
So
adjust along the way as well, taking in requests and feedback from participants.
yeah. So and it's not just about sort of consume the trainer's wisdom and to practice in those. It's you are also like a co-creator of your whole experience because of the mornings and the evenings, and of course during break times and so on. So you have a lot of power to make things happen. And if you're missing some kind of workshop, you can always put out your request, and when you put out your request, the risk is that it will happen. So it's a beautiful way also to how do you say, to come out and live the beauty of NVC, to really make things happening that contributes to your needs. And
Welcome.
now we have a third trainer here. I would like to welcome you, Sylvia. So each of us has said a few words about us and what our heart is singing, or what questions did you ask, Shona?
It said, what makes your heart sing?
Mm.
You're willing to answer that one, Sylvia?
It makes my heart sing. Well, I'm a dog lover, so I would say dogs make my heart sing. And I have a dog that we lost our last dog over 3 years ago, but we have visiting dogs. So right now I have a dog named Sneakers that's right next to me. So that makes my heart sing, just that unconditional love and that sweetness and caring for another being that just shares their NVC so openly, lives this process so beautifully.
Thank you. Welcome.
Mhm.
So we've had a question about what to expect on an IIT. That's where you came in.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What to expect on an IIT, which I did my best to answer,
Hmm.
and Lucinda's satisfied with that. But maybe you've got something to add, Sylvia, about what
Yeah,
can people expect?
I would say the unexpected, because so much happens like in between. You know, we can be on Zoom and we can see each other, but when you're eating a meal together, or you're having a snack together, or you're in a home group, so much learning happens in ways that you probably never even thought about. So for me, it's the expectation. It's maybe coming in with an idea of what you want to learn or how you want to grow, and then be open and curious about what might unfold that you had no idea about it. That sometimes is amazingly rich.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Mhm.
Are there any more questions? And if you would like to put anything in the chat, please do so.
I'm just curious of the people that are here. Is there something that you would say, wow, that really excites me, or I'd really love to see that at a 9-day training?
Yeah, I'm pretty new to NVC, but yeah, I also work. It doesn't really matter, but I'm thinking about very problematic behaviors, like personal. I don't want to like label. You're not supposed to label, but you know, someone who has addiction problems, or you know, personality disorders, and how do you I don't know much about it. I tried to Google if how do you look at NVC in that context? I think that would be interesting. How do you, maybe look at it from self-empathy, but also how do you deal with that in your life when you meet people like that?
So is the question, how do you deal with your own trigger around people that maybe respond or react in ways that you're uncomfortable with?
Yeah, or live with someone. If you're in a relationship with someone, that has an addiction, for instance, and doesn't want to go to treatment, doesn't want to take care of their own needs, even though you tell them, those kind of like complex things where people are sick or, they maybe
Yeah.
need treatment, but they don't want to go. They don't want to take care of their own needs.
So it sounds
Or,
like the question is, well, how do I deal with my own helplessness in those situations?
yeah. Yeah. That is something that or if you meet someone that has also maybe, someone that is using you or consciously manipulating,
Yeah. So how do I first maybe translate my judgments of the other? Because I'm in a lot of pain, and when I'm in pain, it's really easy to label or put them in a box or somehow distance. But what I'm hearing is it's really painful to be watching certain behaviors, and you would love things to be different. You'd love them to maybe get the support they need. Am I kind of getting the flavor?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about, yeah, I mean, addiction is one thing, but there's also like if you meet someone that has, consciously using like psychopathic behavior, when you in the face of evil, what you would, describe as evil, or someone that has these, yeah, how do you, when someone uh, yeah, have this very negative behavior, destructive behavior consciously,
Yeah.
you know
When you see it's
they
kind of
might be in a lot of pain or have very
Mm,
big needs, but it's, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one to sort of sit by because you want to do something. You want to support, you want to contribute or make it better. And maybe the person isn't wanting what you're wanting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering if it's also really destabilizing and somehow challenging to find a sense of your own grounding, like what's really true for me and how to hold on to that. Something like that.
Was that toward did you talk to me, Shona, or was that in
Yeah.
general? Yeah, I mean, you can become reactive yourself, which I have. I think I can use, healthy assertiveness, but it's also I can become reactive myself. I'm just thinking in general because I don't really know this model and how do you, what did uh, Marshall say about, in the face of severe um, negative behaviors, I mean, you can have compassion towards very sick people too. Or, I mean, in the extreme, yeah, you would have to also protect yourself, I suppose. Like there's not like an there's also self-protection if someone does. I'm just considering. I think it's like in the face of something that is very, very hard to deal with. Like, how do you deal with that, basically?
Yeah, it sounds like you're also talking about what we call protective use of force. When something happens, when it's health or safety for myself, how do I protect myself?
Yeah, without, judging the other or losing empathy for the other, or
Yeah,
that is the
yeah. How
maybe
do I
that is
go
part
with
of the
compassion?
practice.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a topic. What could be interesting for me to learn more about
Mhm.
is just these. If you meet someone that has these behaviors, how do you? Um,
How do you respond?
yeah,
Mhm.
or staying grounded might be one thing, because you can also lose your own judgment, or your own, not judgment, but your own clarity in the
Mm,
situation. If you become manipulated by someone, for instance, or
mhm,
you might want to be nice to someone, and then that person uses that,
mm.
and
You want to protect yourself from manipulation.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, or yeah. Now I'm I'm just thinking out loud, but yeah, if you are with someone and you're nice to them, and you don't see through, and then you find out, maybe more like betrayal, stuff like that.
Mm,
Yeah, I understand though why it can happen. If
mhm.
someone has a need and they don't know how to communicate, they can
Mhm.
do that.
You have
But
some compassion, some sensitivity to that.
yeah, I mean, I understand. I work with couples, as couple
Mm,
therapist as well. So
mhm,
I have not NVC, like clear NVC in my work. I work with CBT. So, but we do talk about iMessage a lot. So we do
mhm,
use that framework, but
mhm.
I'm like more interested now in like conflicts, more using the NVC model for
Yeah.
conflicts, and conflicts with people who have very, um, yeah, that's what I want to learn more about.
Thank you. Now I'm more clear that this is kind of your field, and so you're wondering, how does NVC respond to that? What could
Yeah,
you?
how do you look at that, with people who are very complex or destructive? I'm
Mm,
also considering that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I found from my own life, and also it happened at an IIT with Marshall, the founder, quite a few years ago. And there was a woman who really had like a break. She was like, there was sort of a break from reality, which I hadn't witnessed before. I was really surprised. Um, and we all sort of sat around thinking about how can we support. And I remember just instinctively, there was three of us trainers. We walked her back to her room and we just started singing to her. And through the singing, through the music, she came back into her body. It was pretty amazing. So it was just kind of an intuitive way to support. And then she was able to get some help the next day. I think her husband ended up picking her up. But yeah, I'm not sure that I could have like a standard thing where I would say I would do this in this situation. But for me, it's
Mm,
often more of an intuitive, like, okay, this is a human being going through a rough patch. How can I be there and be present and support them,
mm.
nurture them? Any of that make any sense, Ellen?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it depends on your own um, ability to be. I mean, I think if you're in a relationship with someone, it's in a destructive I mean, you don't have the resources yourself, you
Hmm.
know. So that's
Hmm.
what I'm. And sometimes you know, if both people are not meeting each other's needs, it's hard to be present for the other person. So you might need, you know, people from the outside to.
Yeah, I call that an empathy collision. Both people are needing empathy and nobody's got it to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Maybe.
need some support from the outside. Absolutely. Or one of my clients would say, it's hard to do your own surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had periods in my life where I've lived with someone who really, at times, I felt like, oh, there's a different reality here, like really struggling. And at times, I've had between 5 and 8 hours of empathic support.
Mm.
So it's not like I'm doing anything different. I'm
Mm.
still living with the model of AC, exactly what Joachim talked us through, connecting with my feelings, my needs, but it's somehow it was a calling to drop deeper into something and holding on to myself and my needs.
Mm.
That's something I would add.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I would also like to add that, of course, it's very context. If you're a professional that work with people, or if you're in a relationship, or if you have a friend or whatever, it's completely different situations. And even though it might be sort of a similar situation, depends on you as an individual. How much capacity do you have? How much energy? How much do you want to invest in the relationship? And also, if you have patterns from past that maybe you want to save this person, and you are doing more than your resources actually can handle. So there are a lot of things. So I would start like getting empathy and doing role plays and things like outside of this connection with those people, so you get some clarity around what needs do you want to fulfill in this relationship, and how much energy do you want to spend here.
Mm. Yeah, I like that being in choice, that choicefulness, being really clear. Mm.
Okay, we have is that okay, Ellen?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So we have about 10 minutes, so I would like to invite others as well. Is there anyone? And you also gave a little cliffhanger, Shauna, about maybe talking about assessments or something like that.
Mm.
Maybe I did. We will definitely be talking about assessment and certification on this IIT, because there's 3 assessors and an assessor in training coming along. And for those of you who don't know, there's a few of us in the NVC network who've taken on this role of supporting the next generation of trainers. And there's lots of information about that on the CNBC website. And so we're open for meeting candidates, exploring with them, learning with them, offering feedback, and also always open to feedback myself as an assessor. So that's a joy, part of the joy. So yeah, there's lots we could say. So if any questions about that in particular, while Silver and I are here, that's welcome.
I don't have a question about that, but I'm completely new to the thing, or I have got friends that have done it. But I would like to know, is there something you would like us to prepare? How to prepare ourselves for the IIT?
Well, I would like to say, first of all, I hadn't finished Marshall's book before I went to my first IIT. So I was totally unprepared. So just to let you know that that's okay too. Like, I think I look back and I think, what was I doing? But I jumped in and that was my style. And people have different styles. So I think reading Marshall's book is always a great place to be, and I reread it. So that's one thing to do. Any other ideas,
Yeah, and
team?
I was your opposite, Shauna. I might have read it 10 times before I went to my first IIT and listened to Marshall and watched a lot of YouTube clips. So I would say to that, yeah, maybe you can over prepare. That's might be something that you are so full of it, so you're tired of it almost. But I would say to have some sense of about the basics, like the four components, what do we mean when we say empathy and honesty, and so on. I guess the journey through an IIT will be smoother, and you might learn more if you are a bit prepared. Yeah.
Thank you. So reading the book would be would be recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a requirement, but I would
But
recommend that.
recommended. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And how do I pronounce your name? Is it Maria?
Maria.
Maria. So I would
Maria.
also,
J. Yeah.
Maria. So if you
Maria. Good.
like, also once a month, I offer we called Spiritual Sundays. It would happen in Europe in the late afternoon. And we show a little clip of Marshall's work and then we discuss it in an international community. So it's a really easy way to kind of come into some NVC community, even if you had no training, to be able to just watch together. So you're certainly welcome. I'll put my email in the chat in case you want to find out more information about that.
Okay, so I email you and you tell me how to participate. Is it so? Yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks.
And that's true for anybody else that wants, if you want to just get a flavor.
So maybe any one of you are curious about any of us trainers or organizers, want to ask personal question that we might answer or not.
I would like to ask anybody who wants to answer. So how come you started? What made you interested in NVC?
I'll just give you my quick answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. You go, Sylvia.
Yeah, so my quick answer is for me, it was really liberating. I grew up in a family that was all about blaming. When you didn't find what you want or didn't get what you wanted, you would blame somebody else. So for me, it was really liberating to realize I didn't have to play that game anymore. I could focus on my needs and their needs. And it wasn't about right or wrong or proving myself or defending myself. So it was very liberating.
And for me, it's something about the real hook, I think, was the depth of connection, meeting people, really meeting people, and it was kind of revolutionary, and I just can't imagine my life without it now. So like depth and the juiciness of really meeting people. Yeah. And that's why I like going back to IITs as well. So sort of certain depth of friend. It's like a particular kind of friendship as well. That has meaning in it and purpose.
I guess for me, it's a bit of a Scandinavian or Swedish thing. I guess it's quite universal as well, but it's like I noticed in my life that I was quite easy to manipulate to avoid guilt. So people could guilt trip me to do what they wanted me to do. So in NVC, I found out that my needs was important as well. So that was a journey to, in part, stop being a good boy and being liked by everyone and tend to my needs, and also after a while tend to other people's needs as well. So it's like a personal growth journey, how to integrate more of my humanness, you could say, and to take myself seriously. And also we're talking about choice, to make choices even though others might not be very pleased with that, and still make those choices in balancing my and other people's needs. So I think that's what really got me hooked into NVC. And before we end, if Amy and Christina want to share as well.
I can share quickly. For me, when I read the Language for Life, NVC, the first book, it was like an instruction book. I finally understood how people work, including myself. That's what got me.
Well, for me, when I came in contact with NVC, was that I found myself in a very, very challenging life crisis. That, like it felt like the world was just, falling apart for me. The world that I know about myself and, my life. And that was falling apart. And I didn't know how to handle it and who to talk to. And so finally I went to like a coach because I realized I need some support. I don't know how to handle this situation. And this person, she listened in a way that I felt really, really heard. And I felt like I hadn't felt like not being heard like this before. So I was more and more curious, what is she doing? And I tried to read on her, like what kind of profession she had and so on. But I couldn't see anything, that I didn't know. And after some times, she said it was like nonviolent communication. And then I was, I would like to learn this. This is the language and the skill of listening and relating that I want to learn. And then I was hooked. Yeah.
If you're open to one more sharing,
Yes.
I received a 3-hour YouTube.
Thanks everybody. Yeah.
I think you need to repeat, Shona.
Yeah, I'm just popping off. Thanks, everybody.
Oh,
I
all
have
right.
another call.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Thanks. You all.
So please go ahead.
Oh, I'll just share. I received a 3-hour video of Marshall Rosenberg's, like his one YouTube training he had. And I watched an hour and a half of it. And the next day I tried it with a student, a difficult student, and it worked. And I was hooked after that. And I watched the rest of the video. It was just, I cannot believe. And I listened to my colleagues. And I think no wonder why kids react, even to me, I would say. I'm still in process, but it has been a game changer.
Wow, that's so fun to hear.
Okay, so time's up. Shona has left the building, and I hope to see you all on the IIT, or if you want to ask anything more, please connect with us. You will have a direct connection to Amy. She will answer all your questions if you haven't spoke them out yet. And the next session is about the certification process, and the title will be something like all the questions you would have liked to ask about assessment but were too afraid to ask. So that's something to join. Do you remember the date right away, Sylvia?
I don't, but I can look.
Yeah.
9th,
April 9th.
April 9th, 4
April
p.m.
9, 4
European
p.m.
time.
Yes.
4 p.m.
So if you want to, you can unmute yourself and say goodbye, and see you around. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.